I'm often asked by prospective clients, how can we expect InboxArmy as an agency to work most effectively with our internal stakeholders, with the rest of our team? Well, it should be the ultimate goal, and we certainly see our best success when we are best postured and positioned to work as an extension of the client's internal team, right? Rather than as an outside third party. It's really no different than hiring your own new direct employee. How do we get this person involved with other stakeholders, with other department heads, with those folks who run other channels, right? Because, and this is important, because marketing is an ecosystem where all pieces have to fit together to form that single beautiful picture, right? That it is a puzzle. So how do we best put that together? Well, it really starts with understanding what are the ultimate goals. What are the desired business outcomes that should result from our work together? How do we then align all of the available resources and the different players across both of those teams to best achieve those desired business outcomes, right? So that's having very clear roles and responsibilities. It's having very clear expectations, and it's making sure we are all in agreement with every move because of the intersectionality of marketing. What happens in email impacts what happens in social. What happens in social impacts what happens in SEO. What happens in SEO impacts what happens in paid media. So you can't just take one piece out of it and consider that as an island unto itself. All projects begin with a campaign brief. The campaign brief should be comprised of several critical elements. What is the purpose or the intent of this particular campaign? To whom is it intended? What is the desired action we want our audience to take? And then lastly, what is the outcome or the results that we want to drive or achieve? So the brief should describe and detail all of these things with as much specificity as absolutely possible. Right? Once that brief has been delivered, our team will then get to work. Everything happens transparently. The way that it works is fairly sequential. Very first thing that will be developed will be the overall concept and layout of the message itself. From there, we go to design and copy. That first stage of mock is then sent to all stakeholders for review, for feedback, for edit, and iteration. Okay? Nothing goes out the door without having full buy-in and approval of everyone responsible for the success of this particular program. The way that we maintain communication takes several different forms. First off, within a project management platform where everybody has direct visibility into the level of completion of each particular task necessary to drive the campaign out the door. Communication is important. In fact, over-communication is probably the key to success. There are lots of different ways that we can communicate. While the campaign brief provides that initial point of direction, it's always good to understand some of the deeper context. There are always going to be questions along the way. Using things such as Slack or Microsoft Teams for that direct communication is very effective because you don't have a lot of that delay or formality that often goes, with communicating via email. So having that direct line in allows us to stay very timely on top of every particular task. That said, we can certainly devolve to email if that's more appropriate or if these are not time-sensitive questions. So sending examples for review and sending detailed feedback tend to work best using channels such as email versus Slack, where it can be difficult to keep all of that type of communication within a single view. Moving to platforms such as project management allows us to leave comments directly in the platform, change direction directly in the platform, suggest edits directly there within the project management platform. Lastly, we have our regular check-in meetings. Typically, these are held weekly, and we find that frequency of touch, that frequent cadence is very helpful in maintaining a firm grip on what's wanted and what is needed and what needs to happen next. In addition, that 30-minute weekly meeting typically is broken into 3 pieces. The first 10 minutes tends to focus on, here's what happened last week. Here was the message that was sent. Here's the performance that we saw. And here are 3 to 5 ideas we have to improve both the engagement value and the performance of the next message that we're working on. The middle part of the meeting, so that middle 10 minutes, is usually dedicated to the project that is happening at that moment. Here's where we are with the project. Here's what remains, and here is the current level of completion with every task inherent to the campaign or to the project itself. The last third of the meeting, we tend to get ahead of next week's work. The further we can see down the road, the more we can plan, we can anticipate, the more we can implement best practices and strategy and put our best foot forward.